Hey Truth Seekers, this is Nathanael here, and I'm going to be doing a deck profile for our Mono Hope deck that features cards from both CrossTrainers and Red Letter Day. So to start off with, we're going to choose Link as our Truth Seekers, that way we can focus on cards from Red Letter Day. And he has the ability that you may place up to 2 power cards from your hand into your power pool per turn. So basically you draw 2 power cards. It doesn't feel that bad because you can just place both of them in your power pool, which really helps out with the Hope strategy because you're constantly shuffling power cards back into your deck. So now you're going to be able to take advantage of that. As such, we need power cards. So we are going to run 8 power cards. I have 3 with Socro on it, 2 with Conqueror on it, and 3 just regular Hope. Basically, a total of 8 Hope power cards. This way we're going to be able to see more power cards and not be overburdened by them. And then we run to the ritual, which says draw the bottom 3 cards of your deck. It's very helpful, especially with Percy, which we can use to add a card from the top 5 cards of our deck and then place those cards back. If we don't want to change those cards, we can use this to draw 3 cards. Then we have Hidden Treasure. Sometimes we have certain cards that we want to see back in our deck, so we use Hidden Treasure to place that card on the bottom of our deck, and then we get to draw 3 cards. Run 1 copy of the Runaway because sometimes we just need to grab a level 2 that we've already used for our level 1 that we have in play. Or we can use it to just basically grab back any Animo that we need, including a Cine if we discarded it. We run 2 Peter's Vision. Peter Vision is a very effective card. It has a lot of, has the ability to search your deck for any level 1 Animo and exchange it with 1 Animo and all the cards that are attached to it from your small group. You shuffle your deck afterwards. So this is how basically, sometimes we want to discard Animo from our small group, but this is how we get around that, so that way we can continue using strategies. Plus it gets us a level 1 that we need. Run 1 copy of Beautiful Gate. Beautiful Gate has the ability to remove a hindrance card from an active Cine or ignore the effects from your opponent's Cines for the turn. So this is very helpful, especially with hindrance cards like Millstone or basically Cine's abilities that prevent you from doing things that you need to do. We run 2 Paul's Chains. Paul's Chain says that the Animo that this card is attached to, it can't be activated, nor can it but in exchange, you can discard it anytime. So this is one way that we can attach something and discard it. Plus, the real good thing about this is it searches for 2 level 1 Animo and adds them directly to your small group. So 2 level 1 Animo into your small group in exchange for having an Animo that you can't activate. It's actually pretty good. We're going to run 3 copies of Gold. If the Animo to whom this card is attached has any Hope cost, they may be converted to regular Hope cost that you return. You don't have to return those power cards back to your power pool or from your power pool to your deck. Gold's extremely effective in this deck because there's a lot of Animo that have return costs. Onward to our Cines. Flipper, if your opponent has 40 or more points, instead of a 7, it's a 17. It's really good. Grumble. Grumbles is a 13 defense Cine. I could probably switch this out for a Cine from CrossTrainers that has an ability like Screeny, but I chose just to stick with Grumble for now because 13 defense is pretty good. Plantrap Mega. Plantrap Mega is a 16 defense Cine. So weakness is Vineon. Vineon's only really good in decks that run Holy Spirit, but he's just a big Cine. That's basically what his plus is. Fear Crow. When you reveal this to your opponent, you choose 1 level 2, level 3 Animo in your opponent's small group, and you revert it back to level 1 and shuffle the rest of the growth stages back into the deck. 10 defense Cine. Then Wolf. If it's in your hand, you can choose to show it to your opponent, shuffle it back in your deck. If you do, you draw another card. Plus, it's a 10 defense Cine. It's just really good. Bob Bubble. As long as this card remains active, your opponent may not have any more than 1 Animo of the same name in their small group at a time. This is some kind of disruption, slows down multiple stagnetics being played in a turn, stuff like that. Hookworm. Hookworm says, as long as this Cine is active, all your opponent's Animo require 1 extra universal cost in order to be activated. Really effective. Of course, we're going to run Zapper King from CrossTrainers because your opponent may not play any level 1 Animo from their hand to their small group next turn. This is really good. Another good card is Judge Weed because it prevents your opponent from revealing the Cine to you. Now onward to our Animo. We run three level 1 Swimmer. It's just a 3 in this deck. We don't use the Fellowship bonus since this is Mono Hope, but you need to search your deck for 1 standard power card and place it directly into your power pool. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Basically, this is how we get our power back and get power just to start with. And continuing our trend of power cards, we have Aurora. Aurora has the ability that while it's in your small group, it can be used as a power card. So the ruling on this is if you activate an Animo that has the cost to return the power card as part of its activation cost, this card can be used, but it does get shuffled back into your deck. Also, it's just a 1-for-4, which is good. Carolyn really likes her 1-for-4s, but having an ability where it can be used as power cards is really helpful. All right. This is Hopper. I actually was originally going to take Hopper out of this deck, but I realized Hopper fills a void in this deck of not being able to search out your level 2 Animo. But the way this card works is search your deck for any 2 Animo with a virtue point score of 8 or less and place them directly in your hand. You shuffle your deck afterwards. It costs 3 for 4, which is terrible, but being able to grab 2 of your level 2s is really good for this deck. Plus, it also allows you to grab some of your win cons if you need to, because this deck actually has like a lot of win conditions. So moving on to our win conditions, we have Professor. So Professor level 1 costs 2 hope that you shuffle back in your deck. The advantage that hope brings to the game is Professor and Oincome, plus now Schwimmer. The reason why this is so is because it allows you to have essentially more than just 6 power cards in a turn, and Professor allows you to have more than just 6 or 4 Animo in your small group, because his action is search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo, excluding Ultra, and place them into your small group if the space provides it. So you're going to use this to go grab Aurora, Schwimmer, and you're going to sacrifice 2 of your power cards to do it, but you're getting 8, and then those other Animo are going to give you even more points, especially when you follow up with an Oincome play. And you can shuffle Aurora back. So normally what we would do is we activate 1 Animo in our small group, then activate Professor. But if we're activating Professor and we're choosing Aurora in our small group, that's going to free up our small group by shuffling Aurora back in your deck. Now, after that, you're going to apply the action, and you go grab Aurora back for essentially an additional power card if you are thinking that far ahead. So Professor opens up a lot of plays with CrossTrainers and Aurora, and you should really check out what this deck can do. Continuing from CrossTrainers, we have Oincome level 1. A 2 for 7 is actually pretty good, but you do shuffle 1 power back. But the reason why we're using him is because we are growing him into Oincome level 2. Oincome level 2 has the action, search your deck for up to 2 Hope power cards and place them directly in your power pool. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So normally what we do is we activate Professor, shuffle 2 back, and then we use Oincome level 2 to place 2 back into our power pool. So this is a really strong combo, and it gets you 16 points for essentially just 2 power cards, because you're putting 2 back and you're gaining 2 back. And then you can use those 2 to get even more points, especially if you grab like 2 Aurora or 2 Schwimmer or whatever. So you have a lot of potential just accelerating your power pool really quick with this deck. Moving on to our Red Letter Day win conditions and utility cards such as Socro level 1. 2 for 6 is a really strong value, and when he's played from your hand to your small group, you get to draw a card. Really strong. And then you have Socro level 2. Got 3 of those. Socro level 2 says when this card's played from your hand, grow like Socro level 1, you can shuffle your hand back in your deck and draw 5 cards. This deck goes through a lot of cards really fast. And then continuing with this, we have Percy. Percy is a 2 for 4, which isn't super great value, but his ability makes up for that. It says when this card is played from your hand into your small group, you may look at up to the top 5 cards of your deck, take one and place the rest in any order. He helps set up your next turn. He gets you an extra card, so he helps out with your Socro here. Because you can combo these guys where you can search your top 5, then draw a card. And you have Percy level 2. Percy level 2 just looks awesome. He costs 3 for 10, which is fair value. His action is search your deck for any 2 cards and place them into your hand. So he grabs you whatever you need. This is utility and win conditions because these are all big Animo. And then we have Socro Ultra, which is a 1 Hope and 2 Universal. So you can like use this in a multi in like a dual color or a dual kind Animo deck. So because you only have to pay 1 Hope for him, but he does cost 2 Universals, so but he's a 3 for 12, which is good value. And then we have Percy Ultra, which is a 12 for 3 as well. But he has, a 3 for 12, and he costs 2 or 3 Hope to activate, but that's okay because it's a mono Hope deck. And then he has the ability that once per turn, all his cards in your small group, you may draw a card. So this right here is our CrossTrainers and Red Letter Day mono Hope deck. In the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating Sinnies.